All right, guys, AMD earnings are in. The takeaway, a strong quarter delivered during a tough week. We're seeing the AI trade take a little bit of a breather here this week after a huge run up in September and October. Let's hit on a few notes related to AMD, the earnings report, and where we see the stock going. Revenue came in at $9.25 billion versus the 8.7 Wall Street expected, a more than 5% beat. The growth rate was 36% year over year. That's great stuff. That's not astronomical NVIDIA numbers, but it's still really good stuff from Lisa Su and the team. Earnings per share were $1.20 versus $1.09 expected. Let's dive a little bit deeper though, especially for you guys out there less familiar with AMD. Their story continues to be wrapped up in everything AI, but let's zoom out for a second. They have two main business segments and one really small one. There's data center and then there's client and gaming. And right now from a revenue perspective, they're pretty much even. It's interesting, given all the hype around AMD being an AI infrastructure play, it's the client and gaming segment that's growing at a faster clip, coming in at 46% year-over-year growth versus data center at 22%. Check out this simplified visual of AMD's earnings from the good folks over at App Economy Insights. It's super helpful for AMD as well as others. You'll notice one thing though, the client and gaming is split into two sections, but AMD will lump these into one business segment. That said, the hype around the data center segment, which is everything AI, is there for a reason. It's going to start to dramatically outpace client and gaming in late 2026 when they recognize revenue from the sales of their MI450 chips to OpenAI, as well as their rack scale Helios design to Meta and Oracle. As far as those deals go, no major updates from the call. But you could tell the analyst community was probing at the risks associated with OpenAI's ability to deliver. So if you're concerned about that, you're definitely not the only one. All I can tell you is that it's status quo at the moment. We continue to be long on AMD. Even if there's a bubble-like scenario that we saw in the dot-com period, it's not that the world was wrong about the internet, it was just that the business community and the markets got overexcited. We think AI has legs for the long term and that AMD is well positioned for the future. It's just if you're playing this short game, it becomes incredibly difficult to maintain perspective between hype and reality. So try to always think long term here. Thanks guys, appreciate you all in the Wall Street Game Notes community, liking, following, subscribing, all that good stuff. Be good.